Hey, Xbox One fans and gamers, you're now rocking with your boy Str8murda and listening to Str8murda Podshots. I wasn't going to do a pod shot this week, man. I was just going to take a break. I'm working on a Tick podcast, working on that website, and, with a few things up my sleeve that I had planned for gamers this week and fans alike. And I just was enjoying life, man. Just something that a lot of fanboys don't do, man. Just take a break from gaming, take a break from the nonsense of the internet and things like that, and just enjoy life. And when you try to step away, they pull you back in. I tell you, man, it's crazy. They pull you back in, and I'm sitting there, I'm hanging with the homies on Twitter, just chatting it up a little bit. And obviously, if you haven't heard, the Xbox One version of Destiny, confirmed by Bungie, is now at 1080p. And the PlayStation fans, or excuse me, I won't say fans, the PlayStation fanboys, because there are true PlayStation fans out there that have respect for all consoles. They have multiple consoles, and they understand the strengths and the weaknesses of both consoles. So I'm not going to sit there and say Sony fans. I'm going to say Sony fanboys. These are the guys that are what you may call a pony, a play slave, whatever it is that you want to call them. These are the guys that I'm talking about. These guys truly believe that the PlayStation 4 version of Destiny has somehow been gimped because of the simple fact that the Xbox One version is now 1080p resolution. If that is not the dumbest thing I have read, I don't know what is. I mean, I thought we were actually going somewhere. I thought we were actually starting to, finally get where we can get past the point that, listen, the games are the games and we're having fun. But we're not. We're not. And you know what it is the fact that, Sony's done this. I have no bias against Sony. I think Sony's a great company. I think, I love PlayStation. I love the brand. I love the games and things like that. But Sony's done this with this whole resolution, promotion thing. Everything being 1080p when a lot of times, some of the games aren't. But look, on paper, the PlayStation is the more powerful console by the numbers. Xbox is a really good console in its own right. It's no slouch. But, to ponies, if I had to put this in anime terms, just on a power rating level, you would think that the PlayStation 4 is like Goku Super Saiyan level 4. And, Xbox is Krillin. Bro, what are you guys talking about, man? Like, what are you guys talking about right now? What you're telling me right now is that they somehow downgraded the PlayStation version because how can something have parity when in the beginning of it, it didn't have parity in the first place? How was that possible? The Xbox One version was originally 900p. This is a fact. The reason why we know this is because the beta version that we're getting tomorrow is 900p. And that's an old build. After the June SDK update, the extra 10% helped them get to 1080p. They actually had to bring in Microsoft engineers to help them get to 1080p. Once they got to the resolution, it put them on par with the PlayStation version. See, the problem is the word parity. And what people have to understand is that the word parity goes both ways. It's not always a negative. Just because something's on par with something doesn't mean that the other version of it is bad. What they're saying is the parity isn't for PlayStation 4. The parity is for Xbox One because it's now on par with the PlayStation 4 as far as resolution is concerned. Now, if you feel that the PlayStation 4 version is gimped, how can it be gimped? Please explain to me how. Please explain to me how they're not using the full GPU or whatever the resources is in the game, where it is to the point that the game is gimped. The PlayStation version was already 1080p. All the assets were in the game already. The Xbox One version was 900p prior to the update. Where is the parity in that? The game was already at a lower resolution. Where is the parity in that? Now that the game has been updated, there's a problem. Do you see the logic in this? The logic in this is so dumbfounded. It's funny. You can laugh at it. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Only a fanboy would be blinded at that and think that somehow their version of the game got dumbed down after having a non-parity game. It just doesn't make sense. What did they do? They took out extra enemies. They removed clouds. What I don't understand. There's extra vehicles. Were there extra vehicles and they removed those things from the game? How? The game was done. It was done. It had 1080p already. The parity is for Xbox getting it up to 1080p. It's done. We know that now it's at 1080p. What is the problem? I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is that the Sony fanboys, or whatever you want to call them, the ponies, the play slaves, whatever, these guys got hate in their blood, man. You know, it's like Batman and Alfred, and he's like, man, some people just want to watch the world burn, man. People just want to watch Xbox suffer, man. They just want to watch them burn, for whatever reason, whatever grudges they have, they want to see them fail. And I got something to tell you guys, man. Microsoft ain't going nowhere, bro. Trust me, they're not going nowhere no time soon, and neither is the Xbox One. They're going to be sticking with this console for a minute. And whether or not the Xbox is on par with the PlayStation, look, on paper we know for a fact that it's not. At the same time, it's no slouch. It really isn't. It's a really great console. The constant updates, the software updates, the things that they're doing with the console on a consistent basis and the way it's evolving is at an amazing pace, makes it an amazing console. And when you play those multi-platform games, bro, really, when you're playing it, we're getting the same experiences. I'm seeing the same things you're seeing, enjoying the same stories, and hearing the same sound. And somehow, supposedly, whereas Sony has the better version of the games according to Eurogamer and Digital Foundry, somehow it's never lessened my experience at all. I enjoy my Xbox because of the simple fact that I have friends on there and I enjoy playing with the controller. There's other things that go into the reason why Xbox is such a great console besides graphics. Or shall I say resolution, because it's really not even graphics, it's just resolution. It's clarity for distance and things like that. Graphically, the games are pretty close. If not on par. There goes that word parity again. I mean, it's pretty much on par with each other graphically. It's just a resolution thing and some of the frame rate things. I think that's where you guys are missing the point. Where the PlayStation is really powerful at is the whole frame rate thing and the whole, resolution thing. But if the Xbox One is meeting those standards, it can only get better, especially if they start adding cloud to it. I don't want to jump too much into that, but listen, if you start offloading resources, that says something, man. That means that you have more assets and resources to use for other things. We'll see what happens with that. But once again, if you think that the PlayStation version was gimped because of the Xbox One version finally hitting 1080p after the update, man, it's only one thing that you got, man. And it's called hate in your blood. And when you got hate in your blood, it's hard to get out. I seen that comment section on IGN. That thing had almost 8,000 comments. It was so much hate, I could have swore they already made Star Wars 7 and I was watching a Sith War. It was just insane. And it's ridiculous. And I hope that this generation goes by, as quickly as possible and the games come out so we can just start playing games and not worry about, things like resolution. What we should be worrying about is frame rates. Can't play a game where it's freaking stuck. I could play a game if the game was at 900p or 800 or 720. And I think that's more important than resolution. Holla at you guys later. Peace.